Well, hello and welcome to this week's second edition. Imagine that of On Deck with Avoya, your weekly travel update. I'm your host, Chris Green, Director of Network Expansion for Avoya Travel. Thanks for tuning in today. What a great week, and thank you to everyone that reached out with such positive comments after our special edition on Monday with Gina White, Director of Avoya Education Platform, our discussion on the new travel agent education powered by Avoya platform. You know, about 30 minutes ago, I wasn't sure if we were going to be able to pull this broadcast off because I live in Florida, and you may have seen the storms that ravaged Louisiana and parts of the South yesterday. Well, they're making their way east, and today was my day. And while we didn't get the tornadoes, boy, about 30 minutes ago, I thought for sure that I was going to have to pull the plug because Mother Nature was going to pull the plug on us for a little while. It seems to have calmed down, so I'm excited. It seems that, you know, we got a chance to go. So again, thank you to everyone that's reached out. It just really means so much. And it's always going to be our main objective, right? To be a valuable resource to you, those in the travel industry. And it's hard to believe that here we are putting the final touches on 2022. Today's actually going to be our last live broadcast of the year. We've got a really fantastic end of the year special coming up on next Thursday. We'll have some details coming up here towards the end of our broadcast. We wrap up our year of live episodes of On Deck with Avoya today with a great Meet the Network segment. We get to introduce you to a member of the Avoya Network that proves that hard work, determination, a focus on integrity and professionalism, and smart use of resources are still the best way to build a small and thriving business. And now that business is an award-winning business, but more on that later. We'll be excited to welcome Tina Bradley, owner of Wish You Were Here Vacations, an independent agency in the Avoya Network, to On Deck with Avoya in just a few minutes. And I think Tina has some great insights to share, and we're excited to spotlight her and her agency. We skipped our Eye on the Industry segment on Monday, but we do have a few stories to share today, including expected news on the top leadership changes coming to Oceania Cruises and Regent Seven Seas. Positive news from across the pond as Great Britain ups their tourism forecast, and Celebrity Cruises goes way beyond reality and smack dab into the metaverse. We'll have those industry insights coming up here in just a minute. We're also going to preview, as I mentioned, our end of the year special for On Deck with Avoya. We'll highlight our new travel agent education powered by Avoya platform. We'll discuss top resources available exclusively to those in the Avoya network and wrap it all up with all the ways you can reach out and start that conversation. So let's kick it off. This week's episode of On Deck with Avoya, your weekly travel update, our weekly industry insights, and our Eye on the Industry segment. This was expected news, no shock here, but now it's become official in a story we sourced from Travel Pulse. Norwegian Cruise Line Holdings Limited announced that Andrea DeMarco will become president of Regent Seven Sea Cruises, and Frank A. Del Rio, Frank Jr., will ascend to the presidency of Oceania Cruises. That's going to be effective on the first of the year, January 1st. DeMarco and Del Rio will succeed Jason Montague and Howard Sherman, respectively, who will become special advisors to the company. Now, Frank J. Del Rio, as we call him, Frank Sr. in the industry, the president and CEO of parent company Norwegian Cruise Line Holdings Limited, is quoted in a statement as saying, "I have no doubt that they are prepared to take the helm and build on our significant momentum at this critical time as we complete our transition to steady state operations and prepare to deliver on our industry-leading growth profile." Each brings 20 years worth of experience to the cruise industry, and each has served as chief sales and marketing officer for their respective brands prior to the promotion announcement. And we have a really great relationship with the Del Rio family. And Frank Sr. was in our office not long ago, gave a pep talk to the whole staff and to the network. So a really great relationship there. In another story I sourced from Travel Pulse, Visit Britain released a 2023 inbound tourism forecast projecting a whopping $36.67 billion in international visitor spending for next year. Now, that represents a 4% increase from the record international spending seen during 2019. The inbound tourism forecast illustrates that spending by inbound visitors is projected to grow faster than visitor volume, with higher spending per trip. That's all right, right? Less people spending more money, the numbers work out. Looking at the number of visits to the UK, 35.1 million visits. Our forecast, that's 86% from 2019. And additionally, they upgraded this year's end of the year forecast for Q4 to around 29.7 million inbound visits. In particular, US and Canada numbers were strong throughout the summer, with 2.1 million visitors between June and August, and a 7% increase compared to that same period in 2019. And that's a record high for North American visitors to Great Britain in August. And finally, let's dive headfirst into the metaverse. But I have to admit, I'm doing so without a net, because me and the meta, we know very little about each other. So this is a story from Travel Weekly. Celebrity Cruises has unveiled a new metaverse experience to encourage prospective cruisers to roam the celebrity beyond and hopefully help travel agents boost sales. I'm all for that. Dubbing the digital world the Wonderverse, the cruise line created a video game-like digital world where people can explore the line's newest ship, meet Captain Kate McHugh, CEO Lisa Lutoff-Perlo. Now, the system also enables users to personalize their characters, use the camera and microphone on their device to interact with other players. The brand anticipates the games will appeal to Generation Xers, who turned between 42 and 57 this year. And CEO Lisa Lutoff-Perlo said it's the closest you can get to being on board without being on board. So you get the cruise, you don't get the calories from the buffet. And went on to say the game will also offer a tool for travel agents to get clients excited about the brand, specifically those in the new to cruise segment. The experience enables people to tour 4 areas of the ship, including the resort deck, the Grand Plaza, the Martini Bar, the Magic Carpet, and the Sunset Bar. Now, I love the ship. The Beyond is amazing and beautiful, and I'm sure this is going to be a very cool experience. I'm just on the upper end of that Generation Xer, and I just don't completely get the whole metaverse thing, but I think it's pretty awesome, and I hope to learn more. But if they ever release a Celebrity Beyond pinball game, though, that's more my speed. Time for our weekly question and answer segment, and we're excited to have a Meet the Network segment today. It's been a while, but we always love showcasing the amazing talent and results of those in the Avoya Network. So today we're lucky enough to feature an award-winning agency on our program. So let's welcome in our special Meet the Network guest for On Deck with Avoya, Tina Bradley, owner of Wish You Were Here Vacations, an independent agency in the Avoya Network. Tina, it's so great to have you on the show today.
Thanks for having me, Chris. It's a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. Tina, before we jump into our main topics, I wanted to add my voice in congratulations for winning the Avoya Travel Flowerfly Award for 2022. I was there in person on the Celebrity Beyond as Madonna Birdsong, last year's winner, and former guest here at On Deck with Avoya presented that to you. And it was obvious that it just meant a lot to you and to your agency. So again, congratulations on being bestowed with that fantastic honor.
Thank you, Chris. It did mean a lot.
You have it? Can you show it off by any chance?
Oh, I do. It's right here. Has my name on it and everything. It's real.
Now, for those that don't know, the goal of the Flowerfly Award is to recognize a member of the Avoya Network who best represents the integrity, the professionalism, and the character that defines the essence of what the Avoya travel community is all about. Tina, what does that mean to you to be recognized for running a business with the utmost integrity and professionalism?
It wasn't as super emotional. We've all had a really rough couple of years business-wise, but my personal life also blew up. So there was so much happening, and I just kept telling myself, I just have to do the right thing. And then I went about figuring out what that right thing was. Turns out doing the right thing is living with integrity, and when you do that, the professionalism follows. So it meant the world to me to have my hard-fought efforts get noticed, and even though I never did anything for recognition, I'm incredibly proud.
So let's circle back to your beginnings of this journey in the travel industry. How did you get into the travel industry to begin with, Tina?
Way back in high school, we don't need to talk about when that was. It was the career that I talked to my counselor about. So the advice I was given that TAs were going to be obsolete very soon. There was something called the internet coming, and it would end my career before it ever got started. So I went in another direction, and then years later, I got really bitten by the travel bug, and I decided I wanted to explore the possibility of doing something in the travel business. So I did it on my terms. I found a host, I jumped in, I started part-time, and that was the plan, to just pay for travel and see more of the world, but it has grown, and now it's my sole source of income.
So, Tina, what areas of expertise do you mostly focus on your agency as far as vendors and the kind of travel that you focus on?
So I am a diehard cruise specialist. I do a little land, but it's a very little land. But even within being a cruise specialist, I mostly sell royal and celebrity. I dabble in other things, sometimes repeat clients come back and want something else, or maybe a referral comes in and I know that that isn't the right fit for them or what they're looking for. But royal and celebrity are truly my bread and butter.
Do you find, I mean, I'm just curious as a follow-up, what's the benefit to you as a travel advisor being able to have that kind of a hyper focus?
We talk about that later, Chris.
Okay.
So I have a whole list of reasons. If you want to jump there now, I will. But
No,
I do talk about that in a minute.
I was just riffing,
Sorry.
you know what I mean? It just dawned on me as you answered the question, that would be a great follow-up. And I said, I should have thought of that earlier. So you've been with the Avoya Network for quite some time, a little over 7 years. In fact, Tina and I worked together on her affiliation, as when she joined the Avoya Network, I was the affiliation specialist back then. Given all the choices that you have, Tina, why do you remain a member of the Avoya Network?
Loyalty and support are two things that I prioritize in any relationship. It's how I chose and stuck with my specialties. Full disclosure, when I joined Avoya, you probably don't remember this, but I must have asked you about and pointed out at least 5 different times that I was with another host at the time, and I had no plans of leaving that host. So I wanted you to know, I wanted to make sure I was doing everything on the up and up. My plan was to keep working my personal clients with the other host, use Avoya for leads, try to grow a bit that way. But I soon found that Avoya had everything that I needed. And even with my personal clients, while I made more of a commission split with the other host, I was able to give more to my clients with Avoya. We had better pricing, we had more perks, we had more group space. So it was just a no-brainer to move everything over and stick with Avoya. And then through the turmoil that was COVID and the personal stuff, Avoya was so loyal and supportive through all of it. It just worked. And then things like the mastermind program, nobody else has anything like that. And it's incredible. So when that was introduced, I was completely smitten. Here was a company who offered the best I could possibly have to give my clients. And then they were going to help me figure out how to sell more, how to make the most of my strengths, how to shore up my weaknesses. I got to meet some really incredible people along the way. I try to join all of the events that I possibly can. I got in trouble once for being on This Week at Avoya, calling myself an academy junkie. I was supposed to say groupie, but I said junkie. But those events are where it's at. There is so much to be learned, and not just from the presentations, but the people you get to meet. The other agents, they've been there, they've done that, they've been through it. They're a wealth of information. So I try to soak all of that up. I think last year or this year, I was signed up for every academy, the Land Forum. I did conference, I did a couple of inaugurals. I missed Land Forum because of a thing that happened, but I didn't want to miss anything. Going to all of those, there's so much to be learned there.
I mean, as a follow-up to that, Tina, and you kind of mentioned some of them, and I guess maybe I'll ask you to go a little bit more in depth, but what are some of the top resources that you really think help you shine better that are offered from Avoya Travel that you use in your agency?
Without question, the number one thing would be the mastermind program. I've not gone over these answers with anybody from the mastermind program. I just believe in it that much. It took me from really just a hobbyist who was like, I could maybe make a little money at this, to trusting it to support me and pay my mortgage and my dog's pet insurance and my health insurance and food on the table and still travel. Between the Zoom calls, the academies, the support system of meeting the people and getting to know the other agents, it's all allowed me to build a system and a career that is more than enough. This business is hard. It can be lonely, but I know there's always someone I can reach out to if I need to. And then the tech with this company. Before I joined Avoya, I must have trialed 10 different CRMs, customer relation management systems. I looked at itinerary builders, all sorts of things. But AP is truly everything we need it to be. I can supplement things with, Canva to design things, but we have a world-class marketing department that I happen to know is going to be doing more with us personally in the near future. So it's all right there at our fingertips for the taking.
I mean, Tina is proof of what we talk about on a week-to-week basis about this show, about if you engage with the partner that you've chosen and you decide to focus some time, like people who participate in our events, by and large, on the backside of that, they sell more, they generate more commissions, they take their agency to a higher level. And Tina just described that in perfect detail of why that happens. So again, avoyanetwork.com, especially if you're somebody just looking to take that business to a new level, Avoya certainly can help. And I'm not worried about you talking about the mastermind program, because when I was a business owner in the network, before I was an employee, that was my light bulb moment. You know what I mean? Consistently. So it's just a fantastic program. So great to hear you describe it that way, Tina. So no doubt the travel industry, right? We've been through a bumpy ride the last few years. I mean, we had COVID, inflation, staffing issues, airline craziness this year. I mean, you name it, we've been through it. What are you hearing these days, Tina? I mean, have things calmed down a little bit?
Sorry, Chris, I think calm is the wrong word here. I've now seen a different type of craze. People who've never really had travel on their radar, they want to go somewhere. Some of them care about where, some just want to get out now. Inflation is insane right now. We see it when we go to the grocery store. My bookings don't show that inflation is affecting travel really at all. And I don't know if that's because people are booking further out. I have a lot of people who are booking last minute though. So it's just going to be a new kind of craze. I'm anticipating a really great wave season. 2023 is going to be a very good booking year.
So are there destinations? Are there anything specific that kind of clients are excited about when you talk travel with them right now?
Everything is so exciting. I have multiple clients for the first time traveling early next week. I have a group of 10 cabins, only one of which has ever traveled before, that are leaving on a short cruise December 19th. And this is the first time I think I've ever booked a group like this where these people are so excited. Just getting out, trying something new, seeing some place that they never even thought they would want to, but now they have this opportunity, and that excitement is catching. So it was good for me too to bring some of the joy back. I also find that people are booking. I have several clients who consistently book one cruise every year. They even went to Mexico during COVID for a land trip that they would never normally do. But I have one couple that's like this. I have 7 cruises booked for them through the beginning of 2025 now. So they're booking further out. They're ready to go. They're trying new places, whereas they used to be regular Caribbean February cruisers. They're now doing Scandinavia and New Zealand and South America and Antarctica. They want to see the world, and now is the time to do it.
I mean, people just really understand after everything we've been through the last several years, how precious time and the moments that we choose to spend our time and the things that we choose to do. I think people are just much more conscious of that. Don't you agree?
Absolutely. And they're prioritizing, I think, this time experiences over the tangibles. They're not so interested in the new TV as they are about the memories they can make with their kids or their grandkids. I have lots of multi-generational trips happening. They want those memories.
For sure. Tina Bradley, owner of Wish You Were Here Vacations, an independent agency in the Avoya Network, is our featured Meet the Network guest today for On Deck with Avoya. Tina, as an expert in your field, what advice might you offer to somebody that was new to the travel industry, that person just at the beginning steps, and things that they could do early on that might pay off in the long run?
So this is what you asked me about earlier that I said we would circle back to. So my advice is specialize, specialize, specialize. And if you're not sure what that means, I mean specialize. Pick one thing. In the beginning especially, you can't be all things to all people. So if you pick one thing and learn it really, really well, then when you're ready, you can add something else. If somebody wants something, you could venture out a bit. But we these new people coming in, they all have families, right? Most of them have another career, so they're adding this in either to supplement or, maybe eventually to move things over like I did. But you can't come into something and know everything. 10 years in, I don't know everything about most things, but the things that I specialize in, I know really, really well. And that makes it much, much easier when things right now, everything is changing and changing so fast. By specializing, it's easier to keep up. Avoya makes it really easy to specialize with the lead program. You don't have to go out and find clients and then figure out what they want. You can specialize in a cruise line and then just take leads in that cruise line. And you can, it's much easier to know everything about one thing. So we get so caught up in needing to do and know all, but we can't. And with Avoya, you really don't need to.
And the thing is,
and
right?
Then the other thing.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. One other thing is when you pick your specialty, put together your plan, set up a system, know what you're doing and when you're going to do it. And that is something that the mastermind really, really preached. They talk about there's a few different ways to make money in this business. One of them is throwing spaghetti on the wall. It works sometimes, a lot of times it doesn't. But if you have a system, you can make it work and you can tweak it as you need to. But those are the two things: specialize and put some systems in place.
I hear all the time from people that the hardest part that they have, Tina, is making that phone ring. So you bring up a fantastic point about the Avoya Travel Live Leads program, because not only don't you have to worry so much about making the phone ring, but when it does ring, it's ringing for the things that you actually want to sell somebody and that you feel you're confident in being able to present those presentations. And I think through that hyper focus, like you were talking about, you could really just take things to an absolutely higher level. And I think it goes hand in hand with the concept and something we always preach, and that's the concept of engagement. When we talk about the traits that you need to be successful in the industry, there's a word that pops up all the time. Do you feel like you're engaged with your agency, its needs, and your clients' needs as a key component? Is that something that you need to focus on, Tina, in order to be successful?
Engagement is very, very important. There's an old cliche that nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. And so by being engaged, keeping in contact, those systems are great for that. I always tell my clients that I'm here when they need me, no matter when that is. And to me, that means I answer the phone when they call. So I joke with them, I answer the phone unless I'm in the shower or the dentist chair. Obviously, there's a few other places, but I do my best to not miss calls. I once had a client, she sent me an email and I didn't respond within like 45 minutes. So she called me and she's like, I was worried I needed to call 911 because I answer the phone and I respond to things quickly. I don't remember what I was like at the dentist, I think then. But I also try really hard to anticipate their needs. So my systems, I have things set up so that, at the 90-day mark when they can do their check-in, they get an email about that. So they're not calling me and finding out. Sometimes they jump ahead and that's okay. An email can go out earlier. I can let them know. And this is another place where specializing comes in handy, because by specializing, I only have to know a little bit or a lot about those couple things. And with the way things are constantly changing, I don't have to keep up with 10 different cruise lines and land suppliers. I have 2 cruise lines that I need to pay attention to the changes to. So being available and knowing what I need to know helps me keep engaged with my clients' needs.
It doesn't sound like you get a lot of time away from the agency, but when you do find time to break away or a little downtime, what kind of things does Tina Bradley like to do for fun?
Away from the agency? What's that? I actually, the locks say they don't work. They're not, they don't work 24/7, but they're always available, kind of thing. And that's how I like to look at it. I spend a lot of time not at my desk. I admit I'm here a lot, but I do get away. So in 2021, in January, I finally broke down and got a puppy. So Daisy and I like to roam the neighborhood. She's got 3,000 toys and she only plays with them if someone plays with her. So we do a lot of that. I got her a kitten for her birthday, and then we found another one a couple months ago. So we have Miley. She likes to go I can't say it, BYE in the CAR. She'll get very excited if I say it. So we do a lot of driving around the neighborhood. I love anything crafty, so scrapbooking. So I do a lot of digital scrapbooking, which is great for sending clients pictures that they send in, sending them something back, or having something made. Earlier this year, I was at a home and garden show, and I found a beautiful fountain, so I put it in, but then that meant putting in plants and doing all sorts of things. So who knew I liked gardening? But evidently I do. It's fun. So I've been doing a lot of that. I don't know, I stay very busy.
It sounds like it. What about personal travel? We all know, I mean, it's not the main reason you should get in the industry, but it certainly is a great byproduct of being successful in the industry. But what about personal travel? Anything recently or coming up that, soon that you wouldn't mind sharing with us?
So I just did conference, and I was one of the very lucky few who got to do the Beyond inaugural, which was really great. And then on Sunday, I came home from the Wonder inaugural, which was also Royal is near and dear to my heart. It's my favorite for entertainment, and the shows were incredible. It was nice that we had to sit down with Vicki and Michael Bailey, and that was really great. Learned some things that are coming up and maybe some changes that will be happening. Personal wise, I have a Greek Isles cruise in July, and I'm very anxiously awaiting to hear where conference will be next year. Other than that, we'll just have to wait and see because I don't have a lot planned.
Well, I'm in the same boat.
Oh, I made a deal with Dondra at conference about my personal celebrity sales. So I will mostly be at my desk selling celebrities this year. I made a very high commitment. So all of Avoya is helping me, Chris.
and none of us
didn't know.
And none of us want to let Dondra down, right? From the top down, none of us want to let Dondra down, because next thing you know, I mean, she has so much energy. And if that woman doesn't get you fired up, you probably can't be fired up. Tina, one last question before we let you go today. What's your thoughts as you look forward on the leisure travel industry for the future? Are you still excited about the fact that you jumped into this industry and what it has to offer for a small business owner?
Chris, I am more excited than ever. When I started this business 11 years ago, I never dreamed it would be where it is today. But it's here, my sole source of income. The nice thing is it still gives me the flexibility to work from home. I still have wonderful and supportive colleagues. And while you mentioned travel isn't the only reason to get in the business, it's a really great perk. So you can't beat that.
Fantastic. Tina Bradley, everyone, owner of Wish You Were Here Vacations, an independent agency in the Avoya Network, and the winner of the 2022 Avoya Travel Flowerfly Award. Tina, again, congratulations on that well-deserved honor, and thank you for your time today for that fantastic discussion.
Thanks for having me, Chris.
Tina's going to be our last featured guest of the year, because next week here for On Deck with Avoya, your weekly travel update, we have a special year-end edition featuring 10 of the top questions we asked our featured guests over the course of this year. Now, we love all of the guests that took time out to be our guests, but we wanted to boil it down. End of the year, you want to count down something. So that's going to be next Thursday, the 22nd of December. And that's going to air on our social media channels only. We know many of our friends normally get a Zoom link in order to be able to watch us live. Since it's only going to be on our social media channels, we just want to remind you to be on the lookout for Facebook and YouTube, so you can catch that end of the year special. Then January 5th, we're back with another exciting calendar year of great interviews. Steve Hershan's going to be our first guest of the year then. So let's talk education for a moment. We just did the deep dive on Monday with Gina Hoyt, but we wanted to mention our new travel agent education powered by Avoya. This is in partnership with the Travel Institute. It's always those, it helps those that enroll, prepare, and take the TAP test for travel agent certification. It'll propel those that invest in themselves to the front of the line for future success. There's a special price point promotion right now for $649. It includes some wonderful full value, $100 off when you affiliate with Avoya, affiliation with CLIA, a membership with ASTA. All the details are available at avoyanetwork.com. But this is going to be an amazing way for those new to the travel industry to really kind of fast forward. It's like a Disney Fast Pass, right? It's going to get you to the head of the line a lot faster. And we still have our amazing military promotion active for those that join the Avoya Network. That's $100 in savings for the military member themselves or their spouse. It's been a very popular promotion. We're very excited to see this being extended now into 2023. Again, you could reach out, one of our affiliation specialists, more than happy to go over all the details. Avoya Travel, talk about resources. We have the best in class resources needed to build a successful travel agency. We just heard Tina mentioning several of the resources that she uses in order to propel her business forward. And no matter if you're a seasoned travel professional like Tina or new to the industry, we have what you need to succeed. Those live leads, amazing marketing, award-winning technology, support, professional development. And oh yeah, did I mention live leads? Because they're that important. Live leads, smart leads, scheduled leads, so many ways to help you find your dream level of success in the travel industry. And don't forget to give us a like or a share, subscribe, ring that bell, whatever you have to do on the Avoya Travel Network Facebook or YouTube page. We share lots of great content every week, and we certainly don't want you to miss out on any of it. And we're also working on some new wrinkles just for our YouTube subscribers in 2023 from here at On Deck with Avoya. So get a head start and get subscribed today. And of course, we want you to reach out. We'd love to hear from you. And the best place to start is the website, avoyanetwork.com. But feel free to give us a call, send me an email. There's my email on the screen, chris.green@avoyatravel.com. We want to connect with you. We want to get you connected with an affiliation specialist. They can answer all of your questions. They can explain our industry, explain our elite resources, see if it's a good fit for affiliation. So that's going to put a wrap on our live editions of On Deck with Avoya, your weekly travel update for 2022. Please enjoy a wonderful holiday season, however you celebrate with your family. I know my wife, Deborah, and myself will be enjoying the Christmas holiday and cherish the time with special people in our lives. Thank you to my special guest today, Tina Bradley, to our amazing trade marketing team led by Marissa and featuring Annabella, who produce our show on a weekly basis. And of course, thank you for watching. Until 2023, take care, everyone.